Hello there and welcome to another Pleasure Beach Experience video. I'm Scott and I'm not going to knock my microphone today like I did in my last chatty video. Today I am talking about my bucket list roller coasters. Now this is a video idea that I've had in mind for quite some time, and the plan was to do it in 2018, but whilst I was sort of planning out that video, I ended up booking Cedar Point because Magnum XL was top of the bucket list, and I just thought, I'll just have a quick look, see when it's cheap to go, and then Becca was like, it's this much money in May, why don't you go? I'm like, that's 4 weeks away. Yeah, just go, it'll be fine. Right, okay, go in. So that one kind of went out the window, so we thought, we'll do it at the end of 2018. We'll do a bucket list coaster video for the 2018-19 sort of close season. And then more of the bucket list coasters were sort of planned into another trip with King Dakar and stuff being planned. So it was like, actually, I'm not going to do this video because, 2020 we were going to go back to Cedar Point. We were going to go to Kennywood. And whilst we'd done most of the rides there already, it was like, well, let's not do a bucket list coaster just in case I end up like going to these parks before I put the video on. 2020 put a stop to pretty much everything. We've managed to do a couple of trips, which is good. Glad we managed to get to Poland. Wouldn't say that the coasters there were bucket list, but they were kind of need to do them. They're not far from home. It's cheap to get there. Why haven't I been? So when I did go, I was sat there again going, well, why have I not come here sooner? This park is excellent. But onto the bucket list coasters. Now, if you've been watching Pleasure Beach Experience for a while, these will probably not come as a surprise, some of them. We're not going to be looking at the fastest, the tallest, the scariest kind of rides here. We're going to be looking at a particular set of roller coasters from a certain manufacturer mostly. There's going to be a few surprises in there, a few that might surprise you a little bit. So let's get into it. I think I've said that about 3 times already, so I apologise. First coaster on the list is the Loch Ness Monster Roller Coaster at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Built by Aerodynamics, designed by Aerodynamics. It opened in 1978. Now the big draw to this one, because this is one of those proper Aero classic looping roller coasters that really pushed the boundaries at the time. It's got 2 interlocked vertical loops. Now imagine the revolution at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and imagine its loop going through the loop that's already there. So you've got 2 of those loops in a tiny little area interlocked with each other. Well, that is pretty much the main draw to Loch Ness Monster at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. It just looks incredible that, 1, they even thought about it, and 2, they actually made it happen back then in the 70s. It was just incredible that they managed to make that happen. It's really impressive what they did there. So really, really want to do that one at some point. And all being well, it's one that me and Becca are hoping to do in 2022. We're looking at it as a 5th wedding anniversary trip to go and tick off quite a lot of bucket list coasters that we've both got really, but the one that tops my list in that particular area of America is no doubt Loch Ness Monster at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Moving on. Did I say everything I wanted to about Loch Ness? No, it does 60 miles per hour. Important fact there. According to rcdb.com. Okay, so next coaster. You guessed it, built by Aerodynamics, is a Tennessee Tornado at Dollywood. Now, Dollywood is a park that I've looked at fitting into quite a few America road trips when I've been planning. Now, bearing in mind, I've only been to America like a couple of times. I've not been like every year. So there's so many coasters in America that I want to do, but I wouldn't define them all as bucket list. Whereas the old Aero classics are the coasters where you look at them and go, they're not going to be here for that much longer. Now, Tennessee Tornado might be different because it's one of the newest ones, regarded as one of the smoothest ones and regarded as one of the best ones. Now, that's all good for wanting to get on it, but also it's just looks like a fascinating coaster. It's got that classic Aero-ness about it, but it's also got a different side of Aero where they sort of tried to reinvent themselves going into the new millennium, which unfortunately didn't work out in the end for them, which is a real shame. And that is why we're seeing so many Aero coasters now being removed, because they're long, long gone. And there's not much that can be done to save some of them, especially some of the really old big loopers that have just, like Vortex at Kings Island, it just came to the end of its time, and parks are looking at it going, we're paying a lot of money to keep these coasters going when potentially, and unfortunately, they can find something newer, more reliable, something that people will probably enjoy more. So it's one of those things. But yeah, I'm looking at my sheet because I've forgotten my facts again. Tennessee Tornado, obviously Dollywood, opened in 1999. That was a great year, by the way. 3 inversions, classic Arrow, claimed as one of the best Arrow loopers or coasters anywhere in the world. So yeah, I need to go on it. If you've been on the Loch Ness Monster or Tennessee Tornado, let me know in the comments. Let me know if they're any good. I'll love them anyway because they're Arrows, but still be interested to know if you've been on them, what you think of them, and so on. The next one is not an Arrow coaster, and the next one is probably going to raise a few eyebrows and cause a few frowns, because it'd be like, his reasons for wanting to go on this one are a little bit weird. Renegade, Valleyfair. Reasons for being interested in this roller coaster, reasons for wanting to go on it, not because it looks like one of the best coasters in the world, it could well be, but it's purely down to Theme Park Review. Theme Park Review's POV of this in 2006 or 7, it might have been 2000, I think it was the end of 2007, was around the time I got my first ever laptop off my parents for Christmas. First thing I did is went on YouTube and watched roller coaster videos because I'm a roller coaster enthusiast. And that came up as a recommended video, Renegade on-ride POV, filmed by Theme Park Review. And I was like, well, I know Theme Park Review because I've been on their forum. So I'll have a look at this. And I'm like, oh, wow, it's a modern wooden roller coaster built this year or around this time, whenever it was built. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, there's modern wooden roller coasters. So I was still quite new into the roller coaster enthusiast thing there. So I didn't really know that wooden coasters were being built again. So I was like, oh, it's got its modern sort of look about it. It looks so different to what I'm used to at Blackpool. Okay, this looks like it's got my interest. So then, of course, you go, right, well, what other modern wooden roller coasters are? And I sat there on that Christmas day, and it was in 2007. Rather than actually, playing on a new PlayStation game or, speaking to my brother or my family, I'm like sat there going, yeah, that's a good coaster, that's a good coaster, that's a good coaster. And I'm going, wait a minute, I'm a seasonal ride operator at the time. How am I going to get to all these parks? And also, how am I going to get the time off? So yeah, it's since 2007, it has stayed on the bucket list. I need to get on it at some point. And I've been near that park a couple of times now, and I'm just thinking, why have I not added it to my road trip? So maybe one for the future, but it's one that I definitely would like to get on, and it's one that really got my interest up in sort of GCI and modern wooden roller coasters, and yeah, need to do it at some point. Now the next one, I wonder which manufacturer this is going to be from. Aerodynamics, what a surprise. The next one is Viper at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Now this looks like King Arrow. It looks ridiculous, which is exactly why I'm drawn to it. The first drop looks like the big one's first drop, but with Revolution's over-the-head restraints. Can you imagine a big one with over-the-head restraints? Well, that is probably what Viper is like at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Again, if you've been on this coaster, please let me know in the comments what it's like. I am intrigued. I am so intrigued to go on this one. It's not going to happen next year, for me anyway, but it is going to happen for Becca, because I am confident that we're going to be able to travel to America next year. And Becca is going to Six Flags Magic Mountain to go and do some of her own bucket list coasters, which I am so happy about, because it was a perfect birthday idea for Becca. Book her to go and do all her bucket list coasters in a week, blitz it. Hopefully the borders will be open. Hopefully she'll enjoy the trip. But yeah, Viper, let's get back to the point. Viper, Six Flags Magic Mountain. Aerodynamics, 1990 it opened. Huge 7-inverting Aerodynamics roller coaster. Absolutely bonkers roller coaster. 188-foot drop. That's just crazy with those over-the-head restraints. You imagine a drop like that on Arrow over-the-head restraints. I need to do it. Get me on Skyscanner, get me over there. It just needs to happen. Again, if you've been on it, please let me know how good it is or how bad it is. I expect it to be rough, so that won't be a surprise. I'm fully expecting it to be rough. That really doesn't bother me. I just need to go on it at some point. Really do. Right, the last one. No, it isn't the last one. There's 2 to go, because I've not done like a top 5 bucket list or a top 10 bucket list. This is just bucket list coasters of no particular number. So the next one is probably quite an obvious one, is Phoenix at Canobie's amusement park. Now this one is something that Andy Hine of the Roller Coaster Club of Great Britain absolutely raves about. When we first started planning our America trip for next year for the event, Andy Hine was like, you need to go to Canobie's, you need to go to Canobie's. Well, unfortunately, we're not doing it next year, but hopefully 2022 or hopefully 2023, it is going to happen. It's got to happen. Phoenix is an incredible looking wooden roller coaster. It looks like the ultimate airtime machine. So it was built by PTC, the Philadelphia Toboggan Coaster Incorporated Company. I think it's something like that. I'll put it on the screen because I haven't got that wrote down because it didn't fit on my page. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to have to put PTC. And I think most people who are enthusiasts know that PTC did the Grand National trains and other such stuff like that. So yeah, they built it and it looks absolutely crazy. The airtime looks incredible. Yeah, just get me on it. It needs to happen at some point. Very, very high up there in the bucket list coaster list. That is why it's been talked about in this video. I want to get over there, get on that, and just do what looks like a really, really classic American amusement park. Looking forward to that one, hopefully 2022. Here's hoping. I put my book away and I've got another one. But I know what this one's going to be because it's another Arrow. How did you guess? Arrow Dynamics, the original corkscrew Arrow coaster. So it was built in 1975. It was actually built in Arrow's sort of plant, let's say. It was built in there, sort of where they made coasters. They built it as a promo, sort of a prototype coaster. Look, this is what we can do. We can make rides invert. We can do 2 corkscrews. Everybody come and buy one. Knott's Berry Farm, they went and had a look at it. Went, yes, please, we'll have one of those. So they had it, and then they removed it and relocated it to Silverwood Theme Park, which is located right next to where RMC are based. 2 reasons to get over to that park, but the main draw for me to go to Silverwood, to most people, it's just a basic corkscrew roller coaster. It's probably going to be rough, it's probably going to be dull to a lot of enthusiasts who are not fans of Arrow. It might just be like, oh, it's a headbanger, get rid of it, build an RMC there, and stuff like that. But for me, it looks like a coaster that I would really like to go on. I just really want to do it, and just to see what the original Arrow corkscrew coaster was like, because that was the start of so many things that we see today in parks. It was the start of Vekoma corkscrews. It was the start of Vekoma being where they are now, because Vekoma worked with Arrow quite a lot back in the original days of Vekoma being a roller coaster manufacturer. It led on to different things being built by Arrow, the big loopers, the big one, all of the stuff that Arrow did. It all escalated from that Arrow corkscrew. The Arrow corkscrew coaster concept was so popular back in the day when it first came out. So many parks built them. It helped Arrow grow. It helped them bring out new ideas. And of course, that eventually was their downfall, because they went too far with some of their ideas rather than trying to sort of redevelop what they were doing. They just kept trying to throw out new ideas. Check out the American Coaster Enthusiasts Arrow documentary. It is fantastic. It proper covers the whole history of Arrow. It is such a... I'm going to go and watch it after this video, actually. It's just fantastic. Great video, great coverage. And you learn so much about that company, and it gave me a new appreciation for a company that I already have so much respect for. So that is my bucket list roller coaster list. So we've got the Loch Ness Monster at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. We've got the Tennessee Tornado at Dollywood. We've got Renegade at Valleyfair. We've got Viper at Six Flags Magic Mountain. We've got Phoenix at Canobie's Amusement Park. And we've got Corkscrew at Silverwood Theme Park. What are your bucket list coasters? I'd love to see them in the comment section below. Have you enjoyed this video? If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Now, before you go, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. Please head over to social media and give us a follow on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. It would be most appreciated if you could do that. And also, there is another page I would really appreciate if you could go and follow on social media. It's called SC Creative Media. It's a new thing that I'm involved with, created by me and Chris from Shutterbug Kingdom. Chris has appeared in quite a lot of our recent vlogs. Something that we're doing, nothing to do with YouTube, it's more to do with inside of the amusement and attractions industry. If you could go and check them out on Facebook, give them a like on Facebook, Twitter and Insta, I would really, really, really appreciate that. For now, that's all from me. Thanks for watching, hope you've enjoyed this chatty video, and I will see you in the next Pleasure Beach Experience video.